Mic is good. We're good. All right. Gratitude, gratitude. Here Now live stream number 30. Grateful to be here. Gratitude for being here right now in this moment. One foot in front of the other. Life is here. Life is now. Much gratitude. Much gratitude. Candle. There we go. All right. Motez, this is so soothing. That instrument is so cool. I'm so glad you like it. It's a steel tongue drum. It is definitely soothing. I have so much fun playing with it, and it's definitely a healing process to just play around with the sounds, you know? How are you feeling, Motez? Welcome to Here Now Livestream. It's good to see you here in the chat. Got another one. Says, I'm doing well. Thank you. How are you? How's your day's been? Thank you. I'm glad you're doing well. Thank you for sharing. My day has been great. It's been awesome. Did a little yoga, and today was, I would consider it more of an off day for myself. So I did a lot of resting, a little yoga, a lot of yoga, and then now I'm here, and I'm really grateful to be here. Woo! El Chico! El Chico! You were distracted by Queen's licking. She's got to groom herself, Good to see you in the chat. All the way from Portugal. You made it to Here Now Live. This is what I mean by dedication. Dedication. How are you feeling, El Chico? Oh. Feeling high on life. Thank you for sharing. Hold on. Feeling high on life. Thank you for sharing. El Chico out here doing breath work in Europe. Living life. Jason, good to see you in the chat. Welcome. Here Now Live number 30. We're going strong, y'all. One second, y'all. Alrighty. El Chico, I'm moving to Portugal because of how beautiful nature is. I feel so grounded. That is beautiful. I'm so glad you're having a great time and you're getting in touch with nature. If you move to Portugal, let me know because I will definitely be visiting you. I am Shibi. Hello, Halito, wholeness and power to all. Peace to you, Morcie. I am Shibi. Welcome to the chat. Thank you for being here. Here Now Livestream number 30. Welcome, welcome, welcome. El Chico had to clock in as a chat security guard. Hey, the chat appreciates you. The chat appreciates you as a protector of the realm, you know? We never know who's going to stop by. I've been very grateful for YouTube and the engagement on YouTube for Here Now Lives. YouTube has definitely, I mean, also Instagram too. I think it's TikTok that's TikTok, yo. TikTok definitely is a I would say a learning experience. Quite funny. So, but much gratitude for the homeland for sure. I am Shibi when the mind is silent and free of its constant chatter. True self-awareness can be realized. And that brings me into today's topic. Just Sean, how you doing? How you doing? Welcome to the chat, moderator gang king. First, before I flow into today's topic, because I really felt called to discuss this topic. Before I flow in, Here Now Live. Here Now Live number 30. I was creating the thumbnail for this live the other day and sitting back and just reminiscing on the journey. And I feel so grateful for this space. I feel so grateful for what it's taught all of us and what it has opened up for us, right? A catalyst for awakening. And 30 lives is a commitment, right? When I first started this, I didn't know. I just knew, hey, going live seems like the next best step for me because I wasn't fond of just recording videos and editing them and posting them. So I found that going live was a lot more fun. And I recognized, wow, no wonder all these live streamers stay on for hours. I mean, mind you, a lot of them are playing video games, but still, you know, no wonder. There's something very connecting about it. It connects you with your audience and those who are following your page or channel, and really opens up conversation. So I'd like to say gratitude for this moment, for being here. Everyone in the chat, much love to the chat. 30 live streams, y'all. 30 live streams going strong. Huge shout out to the moderator gang, El Chico and Just Sean, because they've been watching and moderating since the first live. So much love. I feel very supported, and this is what a community is, at least in the form that we have here online, right? Community can be manifested in so many different ways, and with this technology we find new ways of making community. So just want to give attention to what needs to be given. Give attention. I'm giving awareness, right? Awareness to this, right? When we bring gratitude, we bring awareness to it, and it grows. We see it more. The illusions of the mind They are no more. They are dissolved because reality is seen, the objective reality, the present moment, the here and the now. The here and the now. So much love to the YouTube community. Much love to the Here Now Nomads. Much love, y'all. Anthony Tucker, hello. Welcome to the chat. Here Now Live number 30. Man, let me tell you, y'all, I encourage you all to each and every day find a little something that if you haven't already, that you feel when you do it, joy flows through you, right? Joy doesn't come to us from what we do, it flows through what we do, right? And if you all haven't done it already, whatever it is, a little something, incorporate that into your everyday, and so you are consistently reminded, consistently aligned with source, and knowing that you are safe, you're loved and supported, and joy flows through you. Joy flows through you. And notice the joy. Just notice it. Notice each and every moment. Just notice. What a gift it is to just notice. To simply notice. Alrighty, ask you all to join me in this meditation, right? Meditation can be as simple as one conscious breath. So join me in this heart-centered meditation, one conscious breath, with this here sound bowl right here. It's meant to activate the heart chakra, right? Activate the heart chakra. You could tap it too. I do this before yoga or qigong or even meditation and breath work, tapping your energy centers or just tapping. It's really nice. It's grounding, might I say, which is great for tonight's topic. Alrighty. Join me in this one conscious breath meditation. Take one conscious breath in. One conscious breath out. Bring your awareness to your heart center. And be here. Thank you for joining me in that meditation, that meditative moment of stillness, silence, spaciousness, reminding us of who we are, right? In that stillness, there's no resistance. We just notice, we just observe. We notice the thoughts, we observe the emotions, whatever it is that's coming around, that's around us. I think a something this week that has come to mind has been noticing the resistance. That's what's been coming up a lot, right? Resistance within, resistance towards this very moment. It's already here. It's what is. It's already here. And when we resist this moment, it honestly, it puts us in a place of delusion. And that word might sound pretty harsh, but when we think about it, it's like, but this is what's happening. This is actually what's happening. But within the mind's like, no, don't want it to happen. We don't notice, right? We don't notice. And that's why when we have a practice of just noticing the judgment and the criticism that arises within the mind. I found that lately, my practice of observing the mind has deepened, and having that shift in consciousness where there's no resistance, there's no interruption of awareness. And or whatever it is, that awareness is fully aware of the thoughts, the criticisms. And I noticed, I was like, wow. There's a moment to myself where I was like, wow, I'm being really hard on myself. Truly noticing the judgments and the criticisms. I was like, wow, I'm so hard on myself. I don't need to be that hard on myself. Man, it was a moment. And I was really grateful for that moment of just noticing. That moment was an inspiration for this topic. And it's not like we never talk about this topic, right? Grounding practices come up in every life. But I feel we can dive deep with this. And truly, I Am Shibi shared a wonderful message here in the chat. And I find that this is a great opportunity for us to recognize that. Doesn't matter your state of consciousness. It doesn't matter where you are, right? You are the present moment. You already are. You don't need to get better at this or get better at that. All that's necessary is to notice, to relax into the present moment, to be here and to be here fully. And big aspect of that is observation, non-reactivity, noticing. And what is helpful, this is what I recognize too. There is resistance with that, right? Noticing, and often the mind gets in the way, we get distracted, all these thoughts, right? I acknowledge that. It's a part of the journey. That's a part of us being here in this world. Right? We talked about, what do we think the purpose of life is? A big part of my thoughts are to experience all of that resistance, to experience the interruption, and then to ultimately transcend it. And then to live a life where we are playing in the world of form, where we're not taking the thoughts in our mind so seriously, where we have those moments when we're in observation, non-reactivity, and we are fully aware of the thought, and and then in that moment, you become fully aware of so many things. So many things are coming to mind right now, like thought loops. The thoughts within the mind, they're truly, they're not us. This is why I encourage us to continuously improve our relationship with the mind. The mind is not a villain. It might seem so. It definitely might seem so when we identify with every single thought that arises, when we identify with thought in general. Yeah, it's going to seem like a villain because we feel attacked all the time. Especially when those thoughts of criticism and judgment are arising, we're constantly feeling attacked by our own thoughts and then by the thoughts that are around us. And it ends up building up this wall of resistance, this wall of constantly needing to defend and protect ourselves in some way, this very interesting loop and cycle. And the more we live in the thought, it just continues. It doesn't stop. You know, let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat. Have you noticed that continuous loop of the same thoughts arising in your mind? The same thoughts repeating? It doesn't matter what they are. They can be good, they can be bad, on the spectrum. A thought is a thought. Let me know. Do you notice that cycle of thinking? When I think about I do, yes, I am Shibi, yes, Jason, yes, yes, yes. Such an interesting aspect of being a human being. Just Sean, yep. Such an interesting aspect of being a human being, right? So the title of this live is Grounding Practices for Breaking Free from the Addiction to Negative Thinking. Now, that statement holds a lot there. There's quite a bit. I want to move to the end of it where I said addiction to negative thinking. Addiction. All right. Us here in this chat, we're all addicts. We're all addicts here. And let me tell you, it's not just negative thinking, you know. It's thinking in general. An addiction to constantly consuming the thought and identifying with the thought, you know, in any form of recovery in this world. The first step is admitting. The first step is recognizing it. Hello, I'm Morcie, and I'm addicted to thinking. And so, you know, the moment I fully recognize that, it helps me come to terms with how much we don't need to think, right? How much it isn't necessary. How when we don't have this expanded awareness of the nature of the mind, we end up falling into it, right? The mind is a terrible master, but a great servant. And often we fall, that aspect of us being unconscious and unaware, the mind becomes the master. And then we're addicted to it. The thought continues to arise and we keep thinking it's us. It's just a voice, actually. If you read the book Untethered Soul, Michael Singer refers to the thoughts as the voice in the mind. Let me know here in the chat, when you observe the mind, when you just notice, when you're in stillness, do you notice that voice? And do you notice how that voice is not actually you? When you observe the mind and you're in stillness with the thoughts that are arising, do you notice how that voice that arises is not you? Great book indeed. I got it right here. Maybe we'll flip to a page tonight and read a page. It's a great book. Man, I feel like there's so much on this. Absolutely, yes. I am Shibi J-Sun. Yes, yes. And let me know in those moments, how do you feel, right? For me, this comes up because I ask this question because I feel liberated. So liberated. Like, wow, this is true freedom. True freedom is the awareness that you are not your thoughts, right? Freedom in all forms, but in this aspect of freedom, there's so many different forms of freedom, but to know truly and fully that you are not that voice in the head, that you can remain sane in this world without constantly being influenced by that voice in the head. That voice in the head is always there. Sometimes, often though, when you are aware enough, that's when you find that the mind is quiet, right? And I find that it is not up, I don't know, how do I say this? The idea to try to quiet the mind, to force the mind to be quiet, is still a form of resistance. You're resisting the movement and the activity of the mind, right? So in those moments it's that practice, right? Like surrender is a practice, allowing is a practice. It is a practice. It's a practice until it's not. Truthfully, it's a practice until it's not, right? Yes, some people in this world can awaken and like this, or but most it does take a practice, and these practices are liberating, absolutely liberating, especially when we're aware of resistance. And so I find in these moments there's so much clarity. There's so much clarity in that, wow, this voice is not my own. Wow, I can notice this criticism. I can notice this judgment and not take it personal. They don't feel like attacks. They're not heavy. They don't weigh me down. It's just there. That's it. The thoughts are just there, and I'm noticing. That's it. And often when we continue to honor those moments, continue to honor what arises and not trying to force it to go away, right? Often, I just lost what I was going to say. It's all right. It'll come back to me. I just lost what I was going to say. All right, cheers to that. I'm Shibi. It's becoming much easier for me as well. There we go. There we go. You see, that's what it's about, I find that with sharing this topic, there's a lot. I see what the mind does to try and like force, and it's like a force, and it's a shame, and it's a guilt, and all of this causes just so much more separation, so much more unrest, right? It's like when and this is why I share with you all to thank yourselves. Instead of saying good job, I actually have been shifting my language and just thanking myself instead of saying good job, because good job, words like that, phrases like that, it can create a competition within, right? It does feel good to feel validated in that, right? Like good job. But what are you comparing that good to, right? Another day, another you. Now you're just competing with yourself, and it's not allowing you to rest in this moment or any moment when you're with yourself. When you thank yourself, you immediately channel your awareness to now. No matter what the moment is, no matter what the moment has brought, no matter what is arising in the moment, when you thank yourselves, immediately you're here in the moment. You thank yourself for showing up. You thank yourself for showing up to Here Now Live. You thank yourself for showing up today, for getting up this morning, for taking care of yourself, for getting done what you needed to get done, for doing nothing consciously, for doing nothing at all. You thank yourself. Thank yourself. And in that thanking yourself, you are accepting the moment. You are agreeing with the moment. And what that practice is doing is allowing you to feel a sense of safety in this moment, right? Yeah, maybe the mind is, maybe you still have, you're still identifying with thought here and there. Maybe you're still identifying with thought. It doesn't matter. We relinquish this idea of an end goal, right? Life is now, right? Life is the journey and the destination. Life is the beginning and the end. Life is, this is everything. How you treat yourself in this moment is a mirror of how you treat any other moment. And so when you thank yourself, no matter what you're doing, no matter what you accomplished or did not accomplish, you are immediately, you're present. This is why gratitude is it, right? And I found that through these practices, it's helped me to really become aware even more in a deeper aspect of thought, the nature of thought, how we can use thought and how thought is continuously arising. We can read all these books, The Untethered Soul, The Power of Now, New Earth. We can read all these amazing, amazing books, and they're amazing. Personally, you guys already know me. It's helped me, right? Very much on an intellectual level. It has allowed me, it has been stepping stones for creating these consistent practices. And it's beautiful to read them. We have that intellectual level, and at the same time, it is that ensuring that you are making this your new a lifestyle. It's not something you do every so often. Like, oh, I observed my thought, it didn't work. I get that a lot. I meditated, it didn't work. I observed thought, it's not working. And it's really about continuously noticing, continuously observing. Don't stop, right? Don't stop. Just notice. And actually something too, right? Ask yourself, what's the end goal? What are you trying to get to? The moment you notice the thought, you've noticed it. Be there. And that brings up something too. That's what gets in the way of the practice, is this need to receive something, this need to receive enlightenment, this need to receive maybe freedom or liberation, right? It's this expectation of receiving. And so when we do it and we don't receive that, then we're disappointed. Our expectations aren't met. And now we're in the mind again, right? It's true. You are liberated when you notice or you observe the mind, right? You do step into a state of enlightenment when you observe the mind. You do. It's one of those paradoxes. It's like when you go in with that expectation or with an expectation, you're way too much within the mind. A lot of my most enlightening moments happen spontaneously. Even the moment I'm sharing now, I've had so many moments. They happen spontaneously, and they're happening more and more now. But it's all been spontaneous, where I just chose to just notice and be in stillness and continue that and continue the frequency. It's whenever you're aware enough, right? Observing the mind is a grounding practice, right? It is a grounding practice. When we think of the word grounding, it brings us here, right? It brings us to a sense of reality. The opposite of that grounding is being lost in an illusion, We might think of this like airy fairy, like you're up in the air, you can't be caught, you need to be pulled to the ground. It's when we're consumed in thought, when we're consumed in expectation, consumed in the end goal. That's when we need grounding. That's when we need gratitude. That's when we should bring some heart-centeredness to ourselves in those moments, and ground ourselves, and observing the mind, noticing, I would say, is the number one way to ground yourself. And you can do that anywhere. You could do that anytime, at any moment. Listen, this the ultimate truth. It's beyond words. No individual owns it, but we all, every single one of us, it doesn't matter who you are, we all have the space, and we can all become aware of it. Doesn't matter who you are. You don't need to be on some high ranked position. We all. It's available to us all, right? I am Shibi. Yeah, just Sean. Thank you. There you go. Thank yourselves. Thank yourselves. I am Shibi. You are a slave to your mind until you relinquish your attachment and identification with it. But once you detach from your thoughts and live in awareness, you will find true freedom. Yes. There's a book. I'm gonna find it and share it with you all. It's a great book. And this author talks about how the stages of enlightenment and how different individuals experience it. And, often we'll say, and this is just coming from my perspective of sharing this topic and getting a lot of questions and coaching around it and just seeing how each individual responds to this. And I notice that it always comes to this point of where it's like, when you observe the mind, you observe the thought, and then it's as if it will always be that way, right? Like, it's like you're reaching an end goal, and then that's it. It's one of those end goal ideas. It can always be that way as long as you're honoring it. But if there are still those old habits of attaching to thought, identifying with thought, then you'll find yourself flipping back and forth through those stages, which is something I'm in, something we're all in, right? Flipping back and forth, because what we're doing is we're learning and we are becoming aware of each and every moment, the nature of thought, the nature of mind, and expanded awareness. And so it is truly relinquishing this end goal. That's the best I can, maybe as I continue to talk, I can be more clear with that. But it's one of those things is like, or maybe it's like it's an escape, right? It's like, I want true freedom. I want true freedom. I want to escape from this. And so even that idea of escape is a resistance right there, right? So it's like, if you're using these practices to escape, right there is already resistance. It's all about here-ness, now-ness. The more you're here now, the more you approach this moment, that's when you find yourself transcending the thought. It's very interesting, and that is grounding. That is grounding. Presence is key. I am Shibi, major key, just Sean, gratitude. Yes. Grounding. So, grounding and in a recognition of this addiction, all right, to thought. And I find this very helpful, right? So, recognition of an addiction to thought, and simultaneously just noticing. So, I talked about the loop of thought and the criticism, right? Sometimes when we notice these ourselves repeating something that we said we didn't want to repeat anymore, I mentioned it, right? The guilt and the shame comes up, like, oh no, I believe my thought. Oh no, look at me reacting. Oh no, that comes up within the mind. It's huge. It's this idea of when we're practicing something, it's the idea, that actually, it's there for a reason. The guilt and the shame, it arises because it's attempting to protect us. It's an attempt to protect us. It's an attempt to make us more aware, right? It's making us not feel the best. It's not allowing us to be present, but it's some form. It's a form of protection. So this is why I say when certain thoughts arise and certain emotions arise, we thank them. We thank them. Through thanking them, what we can recognize is why they're there in the first place. We can align with them first. It's if you find yourself consistently having the same habit of, how would I say, maybe criticism begins to arise. I use criticism a lot because that's always arising within all of our minds. Judgment, right? Feelings of anxiety, these dark feelings, dark thoughts, they're all arising. And we may not truly realize it, but they're arising as a form of protection. They're arising because we have an unconscious goal. Often, what I recognize and reminisce in those moments, in my darkest moments, is that, yeah, those moments were very dark, and those dark thoughts, they sucked. Absolutely sucked. But there were moments where, in that moment, I was, and we don't notice it, but attempting to avoid something. And those dark thoughts helped us avoid something. Whether it was trying something new, whether it was avoiding a fear of failure, avoiding a fear of success, avoiding a fear of putting yourself out there, avoiding a fear of projection, avoiding some sort of fear. Those thoughts come up and they're dark as a form of you not even stepping out to even approach that fear. So it does become a form of protection, but it's not the protection we need. And so the reason why I say thank that thought, because thank, it's attempt for protecting you. And when you thank it, there is no resistance. You're not labeling it good. You're not labeling it bad, but you're just saying, I see you and I see what your attempt is to do. And see, the moment you're thanking it, you're aligning with it. You're just there. Right? Once again, you're not saying good, you're not saying bad. Those what pull us into unconsciousness. All we're saying is it's there, and we're thanking it and allowing us to align with it. When you thank it, like I said, you notice its purpose. Everything that arises with us has some form of purpose, right? Everything that arises with us is some form or mirror of ourself. And when I'm speaking about this, it's an unconscious mirroring. This is why shadow work is important. It's an unconscious mirroring, right? I am Shibi, right? No labels, right? We don't label. Exactly. So the less you're labeling, the more you allow what arises to simply be. So that's less mind, right? No labels, less mind, right? We that's it. No labels, less mind, right? And so when we begin to shift our relationships with these thoughts, with these emotions, we begin to feel more safe with ourselves. We feel more supported with ourselves and also with our environment, because we're inviting more presence into our lives, right? When it comes to understanding these voices, right? This came up into my mind about feeling support, right? They're still voices, right? But the voice of intuition versus the voice of ego, right? Your intuition is your essence. It's truly you. The voice of intuition, the voice of your essence, already knows that it's loved and that it's safe and that it's supported. It already knows it. The voice of the ego, the voice of unconsciousness, is trying to feel safe. is trying to feel loved, is trying to feel supported. And so often when they're arising and you're noticing, or you're in a moment where you're like, what is what? That is one way to be discerning. In what space do you already know love? Do you already know support? Do you already know safety? And if that is what you recognize, give that your fullest awareness, because it's already there. It's always here. The present moment, it's always here. Present moment is this moment right here, the here and the now. Here, now, here, now. Right? So yes, this will come back up again. But when it comes to, I just found it profound. I found it deep, and to come back to these same things once again. I'm Shibi. U.S. consciousness is trying to get consciousness to realize itself as consciousness. Welcome to being a human being. Welcome to the human being experience. And you know what? I'm Shibi. That's like essentially what I was trying to share about the paradox last live. I was trying to share about the paradox of being a human. Like, we come here as consciousness, and we forget who we are in an attempt to remember what we already are. Like, we already are. So we're here to remember what we already, that's a paradox and just like a tongue twister in and of itself. And you know, the thing is that we're already getting glimpses of that, and the glimpses are expanding and expanding, and then it's just with us no matter where we are, no matter where we go. And being heart-centered is just, it's simple. It's not even a thing. It's just you. Being heart-centered is normal, because being heart-centered is what is. Ronan, namaste. Good to see you here in the chat. Much love. Adrian, much love. Good to see you here in the chat. It's better you're here. Better late than never. All good. Thank you both for being here. Here Now Live community. Here Now Live fam. 30 live streams. Going strong. Much love, much gratitude. Peace, love, and wholeness. All right. Grounding. Getting us out of the head, getting us out of illusion. So I'll say this. What grounding techniques do you all use? We just talked about observing the mind, meditation, and noticing. I personally, for me, I find that to be the most grounding. But there are so many others. So tell me, other than observing the mind, what other grounding practices do you take part in? And it's also a thing too that observation and noticing, with any other practice, it could be done, right? So for example, I mentioned one in the community section. Earthing. Walking barefoot on natural surfaces, grass, dirt, whatever it might be. Right, there you go, just Sean. My fave is just laying in the grass. Just laying in the grass. So nice. Ronan, climb up a tree and chill there for a bit. Cheers to that. Cheers to nature. Breathwork works for me. It immediately stabilizes. I am Shivi, yes. Getting yourself in to the groundedness, becoming aware, the breath, inhalation, exhalation, groundedness of your body. Our body is always present. Our body is always here. Now, our body is present. And bringing our awareness to that, whew, right? Nature is huge, in the grass, on a tree, right? Spending time in parks and forests, it helps you become more connected to the earth and its energy. I'm Shibi. Riding my bike takes me higher. Woo. Any activity that you find that allows you to be in the here and the now, in this very moment, seeing it fully, right there. Riding a bike. Yoga is another one, right? So that one's for me, right? I do that multiple times a week, at least 5 to 6 times a week. Little yoga. And talk about groundedness, man. Whew. Might do a little, one day might be a little yin yoga. The next day it might be a little more yang, a little bit more active, a lot more sweat. Both are incredibly grounding. Following the breath, holding postures, heart-opening postures, pain-inducing postures. When you are doing a form of moving your body, right? A form of fitness, moving your body. Pain is inevitable, right? Especially when we are pushing our body to its limits. Just seeing, hey, how far can I go? Pain is inevitable. Just like in life, pain is inevitable, right? And it's not about the avoidance of pain, but it's about our relationship with pain. Physically, emotionally, mentally, however the pain might arise. That's another aspect of being a human being. Welcome to Earth, where pain is inevitable. And it's up to us to determine how we respond. A yoga instructor was mentioning how in yoga, one of the best yogis, as they're moving and flowing throughout each pose, doing a flow, their breath is calm. It's very calming. It doesn't matter what it's doing. It could be a very rigorous pose, but the breath is still calm. The face is relaxed. The face is relaxed. And I noticed that within my practices, there will be moments where if I am unconscious, I'll be like, face will be moving. But when you're conscious enough and you're just still and you're allowing the pain to be, it's a whole shift in consciousness. Your relationship with that pain is different. It's there, but it doesn't hurt as much. It's very interesting, right? I'm Shibi. Exactly who is feeling the pain? Ooh. Right? This is why it's so important for us to find some form of exercise or something to improve our relationship with our body. Qigong, Tai Chi, yoga, riding your bike, right? Maybe you hike. But some form or some way challenge your body to its limits and invite in the practice of noticing. Invite in the practice of observing, not just observing the thoughts, but observing that pain, that inevitability of that pain. Observe it. It's a whole different ball game in there, right? And indeed, you see yourself, your brain too. We talk about the brain and its connection to the body, and that when you are doing a workout and your face is like, the brain might take that in as the workout being more painful than it actually is. Do something where you push yourself to your limits and allow your face to remain calm, your mind to remain steady, and just continue to whatever you're doing. And just notice the flow in that moment. Notice the expanded awareness in that moment. Notice the quietness of the mind. Naturally, you don't need to have to try. Quieting the mind is nothing you need to try to do. It does it all on its own, just by noticing, just by observing. And that is another very interesting and aspect of the human experience that I am grateful for experiencing and being just aware of. Because once you know, you know. And so when pain does arise, you know what to do. Often, sometimes with pain, we just have to surrender, man. Just have to surrender. Cheers to that. You know what I noticed too on the topic of pain? I am Shibi. It was my destiny to be in this live. I am grateful. It's a beautiful thing. Cheers to that. Much love. I'm sending love to the chat. Love to you all. Love to being here in this high vibrational conversation. I feel so grateful to share this space with y'all, to receive these messages and insights. So grateful that we can sit here and talk about pain. We are talking about pain, like in this aspect of how we're talking about it. Like, I just, so much gratitude for that, right? Gratitude for that. What was I saying? I forgot. It'll come back to me. I have a list of other things, all right? So earthing, grounding, spending time in nature, which we all love to do here. That comes up quite a bit here. I mean, it's natural, you know. Hug a tree, climb a tree, lay on the grass. You know what's very interesting? You know what? Let's do this very quick practice. Oh, I love this practice. Okay. All right. So I do this thing where this is a practice of being in stillness, silence, spaciousness, and reconnecting with your intuition. And what you'll do is you'll pose a question. And whatever question arises, or whatever question you put out, the answer may arise through a word, maybe it'll arise through a vision. And I very often, I'll ask the question within, what do I need right now? Close my eyes. Stillness, silence, spaciousness. Whatever arises, and I'll get a flash of different things. And often it's flashes filled with nature. Flashes filled with nature. And there's this very specific visual of outside where I spend a lot of time in meditation, stillness, consciously doing nothing. It's a vision where when I'm laying down on the grass and I look up and it's the tree branches hanging and then it's the sky right behind it. So it's, oh my God, it's beautiful. You know when you're laying under a tree and then the tree branches are hanging over you and then the sky is through the trees, you know? That is often what I see. Just Sean, nature babies. Kyle, push 'em. Much love, much love. Welcome to Here Now Live. Unbarred Mind, peace and love, family. Thank you for being here. Thank yourselves for being here. Peace. So I invite you to do this. This is another meditative practice, another grounding practice. It's grounding, another grounding practice, all right? Take this moment to sit in stillness, all right? Connect with your intuition, your essence, your higher self, whatever you feel most comfortable. Ask yourself, what do I need right now? And sit in stillness. Allow what needs to arise and notice. When you're done, share that in the chat. When you're done, share that in the chat. Let me know. I'm going to do it right now. Alrighty? Here we go. if you're open to, if you want to share, you don't have to share if you don't want to. I know for me, I got a couple visions. Literally, it was almost like just a run through of my day. And then what I felt drawn to was this vision of just me laughing. Laughing. Laughter. Laughter breaks through the ego. That is what I received in that. What do I need the most right now? A good laugh, huh? Sometimes we just need to laugh, man. So I laugh. Ha. I'm just kidding. El Chico, I learned a grounding practice today. Do share if you would like to. Do share. This live is all about grounding practices. So the chat will thank you for sharing. Visualization is a grounding practice, right? Visualizing yourself. Oh, this one's a specific one that I have here. Visualize yourself surrounded by the earth's energy, or imagine yourself rooted in the ground can help you feel more grounded and connected. Oof, yes. You know, what's so interesting is like, maybe that's why in those moments when I ask myself, hey, what do I need today? All I see is nature. Because nature grounds us, yo. Gets us out of our airy-fairy minds. El Chico, all you have to do is go digging. Just dig the ground up with your hands or a shovel. You'll feel extra grounded after that, for sure. Cheers to that, El Chico. You know what that reminds me of? When I was in Tampa, I had a community garden. I was a part of a community garden. And, you know, they would give us gloves to, go through the dirt. But I was just like, no, I don't need gloves. I don't mind. I don't mind if it gets in my nails and stuff. I'll wash it off later. You know, because you have to weed your plot. You have to pull out the weeds and stuff. You know, they grow. It's inevitable. Pulling out the weeds. I figured that as like a little shadow work. I was finding all these metaphors while in the garden. And where is it? And digging in the ground with your hands, like your bare hands, is really nice. That's incredibly grounding. So, hey, if anyone wants to go digging in the ground like El Chico shared, go for it. Connecting with the earth's energy. And, you know, talking about grounding, right? When our body or, you know, our feet are bare, even, you know, those practices, I forgot the name of it, but in prayer, when you are, you're putting your third eye to the ground, right? That is another aspect of getting in touch, honestly, with the earth's energy. And I have something here that I wanted to read. Okay. This is about earthing and grounding. All right. I'm Shibi. I get downright dirty in the garden. There we go. I love it. Man, I miss my garden. It's coming back soon. No worries. All right. Grounding is often associated with the earth's ability to transform negative energy. And this belief is rooted in various spiritual and metaphysical traditions. According to some of these traditions, the earth has a natural ability to absorb and transmute negative energy, such as stress, anxiety, and other emotional or psychological imbalances. By grounding ourselves, we can tap into this energy and allow the earth to help us release and transform these negative energies, leaving us feeling more centered, balanced, and at peace. Y'all, This is why we find ourselves naturally drawn to nature. This is why we find ourselves downright getting dirty in the garden. Because we are feeling that. We're noticing that transmutation. We're getting centered. We're feeling the balance. We know the centeredness. We know the balance. We know the peace. This is why we walk barefoot. This is why we roll around in the grass and climb trees. The earth is transmuting all these energies that weigh us down. This is what I talk about when I say we are loved, we are supported. It's all around us. It's all around us. Continuously showing us love. Earth is showing up for us every single day. Whenever I close my eyes and ask my intuition what I need, I am noticing that a lot of the time, I remember the first time I did this practice, it was me walking on grass barefoot. It was legit me earthing. And the more I do it, it's more. One time I saw the sun. I see the sun often in my mind, but the sun shows up for us every day, y'all. It doesn't matter who sees it, who acknowledges the sun. It doesn't matter how many clouds are covering up the sun. The sun is there. The sun shows up for us every single day, y'all. We are loved. We are supported. Whenever you need support, you look for support, go earth. Go ground yourself. Go acknowledge the sun. The moon too. The moon's coming out at night too. Every single night. Right? I am Shibi. Mama Earth is a living, breathing organism. Mistreating her is harming oneself. Everything is you. Everything is you. I have something. Let me see. I hope I screenshotted it. All right, I found this. All right, this came up on my Instagram feed by @there's-no-reality. Is this it? All right. There's no need for intrusive thoughts, no need for doubt. Physical reality has no purpose other than to reflect you. It always reflects you. It has no other choice. It is you. Whatever you think you are, whatever you assume, it will show. Stop thinking if people will interfere. Stop thinking if your desired circumstances will not happen. Claim that it is already. Everything is your reflection. People will act according to your assumptions. There is no other consciousness. There is no other intelligence. This was the vibration of this, right? It's what it's been deepening. A lot of these things we know, right? A lot of these things we know intellectually. Each moment it just deepens. We're being aware of it in a more expansive way. And just like that, even with Earth, like everything is you. I mentioned that I watched Interstellar about a week ago or 2 weeks ago with my friends. And there was another theme in there where everything is you. What was communicating with a lot of the characters was themselves in another dimension. They were communicating with themselves in another dimension. Everything in this reality is you. We're all reflections of each other. One second, y'all. 1 second. I release. All right, I'm back. I was never far. Stuffy nose. But yes, right? Everything around us is us. And that is why it is coming back to heart-centeredness, coming back to empathy, coming back to wholeness, when we prioritize that, right? In the way we respond to others, in the way we respond to ourselves, the more and more we see how everything is truly us. And I'll share where this comes from, right? For me in particular, as a content creator, a lot of what I share is going out to the masses. I don't know who's seeing it. I don't know who's seen it. I don't know who's truly been inspired by it unless it's been telling me. But there's also other people, right, who might come on. Lots of unconsciousness, reactivity. And it's been throughout this process, which is a process of being a content creator or a leader or in any space where you put yourself out there. It's a practice of recognizing that responding with empathy is always, I would say, is the most optimal way to respond. The only reason someone would respond in unconsciousness, maybe they're upset or things like that, or maybe something that was said triggered some form of emotion or thought or feeling. It's always to respond with empathy, to respond with a willingness to understand and being aware enough not to take it personal, right? It's a practice in and of itself. And that has been a practice for me, myself, in that, putting all of my ideas and my work and sharing all these messages, it is a part of it. And it's been a part of me learning how to respond. The internet is quite an interesting space. The internet is quite an interesting space in that a lot of people can have accounts where they are anonymous, right? And they hide behind the screen and hide behind the anonymity and say things that they never say in real life. And it's definitely, I would say, a part of this new generation of creators, teachers. It's something new to transcend, something that those in the past haven't experienced, right? It's like ensuring that in that moment, right, everything is you, right? And in recognition too that how anyone responds to you is also a projection of the way they see the world, right? We take away this idea of projection as being good or bad. Projection just is. Projection is I'll say this. Projection is that lens through which we see the world, right? We based on who we are, our past, our experiences, who we know, just everything, our uniqueness about the individual, it's all a part of that lens, of that projection. And, often when you first recognize that, hey, this person is responding through a projection, right? I'm not going to take it personal. Even honestly, it goes on both ends, whether it's a criticism or a compliment. It's not to get attached, to acknowledge them as they are and not get attached, right? And it's the same thing as, when someone is saying something to us, and yeah, it's going to trigger things. There's things where people put comments on my things and I felt that too. And I was like, dang. But, when you choose that as a moment to bring in space, be still, be silent, spaciousness, stillness, and in silence, you can come to terms with the deepest aspects of yourselves that need to be seen, need to be heard, need to be given attention to. This is why I say thank your triggers, right? Thank your triggers. They're letting you know exactly what needs attention so that you don't continuously live in states of unnecessary suffering, right? Suffering can be really small. Suffering can be as small as a complaint, complaining about the moment, complaining, right? And so, I've recognized that just within this experience of being a content creator, the importance of heart-centeredness, the importance of empathy, the importance of, how would I say, space. That's what it takes in that moment, is space. Because it's very interesting on the internet, is like, when you're commenting on something, you have a lot more time to think about what you're saying before you press send, compared to like being in the moment and speaking. So it's like, wow, these individuals had all of this time to think, and they still wrote it, and they still press send. And it's just, what it is pain, right? And this is what I was coming to, in that when I talk about pain, right, our experience of pain is one that allows us to empathize with each other. The fact that we all feel this the inevitability of pain, it allows us to, I would say, yeah, like I said, to empathize with each other, to understand each other. And so I'm learning more and more. It's been an expanded awareness of like, okay, well, this person is in pain, probably won't respond. Sometimes the best response, most times the best response is not to respond. But it's one of those things. So yeah, I felt called to share that with y'all. That bit of insight. And never let any of that ever stop you from creating or being your best self, or stepping into that space of how you feel your best self will be. Everyone's going to have an opinion. Everyone's going to have a judgment. There will always be criticism. It doesn't matter. It comes with that. It's just this nature of the world we're living in. But if you have if your relationship with your mind is one where you notice thoughts and you notice the criticism, it mirrors out to what others do. So if you're able to sit in stillness when criticisms and judgments are arising within your mind, the same thing can happen when others are doing it to you. The external, right? When others are doing it to you, you're non-reactive. This is why everything starts with us. Accountability, responsibility, right? Freedom. We talked about freedom and liberation, and how observing the mind frees us. I can tell you this, right? With freedom comes responsibility. In order to experience that freedom and liberation, we must take responsibility for ourselves. We must take responsibility for how we respond and how we react to what is arising within our mind and our body, to our perceptions and projections. The more you have a practice of doing that, the easier it is to experience freedom and liberation. The easier it is to be in observation of the mind, non-reactivity, non-resistance of what arises. With freedom comes responsibility, right? BRB. Come, boss. Come, baby. Alrighty. Grounding practices. Grounding. I mean, even this chat is grounding. When I think about this, it's just like almost anything and everything we do and we practice that allows us, that opens up space for our awareness to be here now, that's a grounding practice. That's why in this chat we can basically think of anything, right? So I have a list here. And we brought up majority of it, right? Earthing, spending time in nature, meditation, breath work, yoga or tai chi or qigong, visualization, using grounding objects, crystals or stones, boom. Gardening, we talked about that. And yeah, using natural materials, that's another one. Anything that has to do with the earth and the earth's energy. All right, y'all. I want to thank you all for joining me in this conversation about grounding and approaching our addiction to thinking. Not just negative thinking, it's thinking, right? Negative thought, positive thought. It's all about becoming aware of thought, not favoring one over the other. Once we become aware of it and we see its incessant loop, it's a whole nother experience. It's a shift in consciousness. That's what we talk about when we're in a state of enlightenment. We are enlightened. The light allows us to see. We can see clearly that which was in the dark when we were so caught up in the mind. So I want to thank you all for being here. Thank yourselves for being here. And I want to ask you all the question. What are you grateful for today? What are you feeling grateful for today? I'm almost done with all of them. I'm going to get another one. I'm going to use lavender. Feeling lavender today. Oh, body. Smells good. El Chico, good night. Thank you for joining. Peace, love. Continue to enjoy Portugal. And thank you for sharing your grounding practice with us. Sweet dreams. Eddie, I'm grateful for this moment. Much love, Eddie, good to see you here in the chat. Jason, thankful for productivity. That yin and yang energy. Much love to that. El Chico, I'm grateful for deep breathing and fruit trees. Deep breathing and fruit trees. I'm grateful for grounding. I'm grateful for the awareness of being aware of this very moment. I'm grateful for awareness and awareness of what's going on within the mind, awareness of the mind's activity. Much gratitude for that. That's an awakening right there. Awareness of the mind's activity. This is what I wanted to share with y'all too. I am Shibi, grateful for awareness. Yes. I had something else I wanted to share, and I really appreciated this. I think I favorited it in my phone. Here it is. This is by the teacher Krishnamurti. J. Krishnamurti, As One Is. I really appreciate this. This is all about awareness, y'all. You ready? Here it goes. When you attend to something with your whole being, that is, when you give your mind completely to understand something, there is no conflict. Conflict arises only when you are partly interested and partly looking at something else. And then you want to overcome that conflict. So you begin to concentrate, which is not attention. In attention, there is no division. There is no distraction. Therefore, there is no effort, no conflict. And it is only through such attention that there can be self-knowledge, which is not accumulative. I appreciated that. I definitely appreciated the part. I'm grateful for this it being explained in such a way. One of those things where we know, but when we hear it in another form, it's so helpful, right? Nothing interferes when you're aware, right? One of those steps in being aware of what's arising. Some may say, yeah, I am aware that I'm frustrated. I'm very aware that I'm frustrated. But that's not full awareness, right? There's still conflict there. There's still resistance there. So it's not full awareness. So when you talk about fullest awareness, there's no effort. There's no conflict. That's when you're in that state where you notice the voice. You just notice the voice, you know? So yeah, wanted to share that with y'all. I'm Shibi. Are you going to read from the Tao? I can. I was just sharing this part with y'all. I didn't finish the gratitude yet. I can. You can read from the Tao, or I also had Eckhart's book. I was going to read another. All right. Let me do this, and then we'll figure out what other book I'm going to read. I just wanted to share that with y'all because it was really nice. All right. Much gratitude. I'm grateful for this chat. I'm grateful for awareness. I'm grateful for full-on awareness, no effort, no conflict. The awareness of that. Awareness being aware of itself. Gratitude for this moment. Gratitude for productivity. Gratitude for deep breathing and fruit trees. Gratitude for awareness. Gratitude for the Tao. Why not? If anyone is here with me and you would like to join me in this gratitude ritual, Here Now gratitude ritual, here we go. Much love. Take this moment to absorb our conversation on grounding, on awareness, higher states of consciousness. Join me in this one conscious breath meditation. Take one conscious breath in. One conscious breath out. Bring your awareness to your heart center and be here. I release. All right. I am Shibi has mentioned the Tao. Tao Te Ching. And we shall read a passage from Tao Te Ching, the Book of the Way. The Tao, that which cannot be named. The way, the light, the very source of all existence. But even that does not describe the ultimate extent, its truest nature. It's just a piece, just pointing to the moon. What do we need to hear today? What do we need to hear today? Flip to the first page. Hold on. I'll do it again. I'll read the first page again. Okay, ooh. I'm going to read the first one too, because I flipped to it. I'm also going to read this one. So, Tao Te Ching, the Book of the Way. I'm reading meditation number 8, goodness. Right here. Goodness. Okay. Goodness. True goodness is like water. It nurtures everything and harms nothing. Like water, it ever seeks the lowest place, the place that all others avoid. This is the way of the Tao. For a dwelling, it chooses the quiet meadow. For a heart, the circling eddy. In generosity, it is kind. In speech, it is sincere. In power, it is order. In action, it is gentle. In movement, it is rhythm. Because it is always peaceable. Peaceable as in peace, like P-E-A-C, peaceable. It soothes and refreshes. Share peace. Welcome to the chat. Thank you for being here. Peace and love. Welcome to Here Now Live. Goodness. We were just chatting about that today, weren't we? Responding with empathy, responding with awareness and consciousness. A recognition that everything is a mirror of us, our reaction and our responses, a mirror to us. Goodness, goodness, goodness. It's so funny because the first two sentences are true goodness is like water. It nurtures everything and harms nothing. So funny though, because with technology, it definitely destroys technology. But in nature, right? I think in nature, it definitely, unless it's waterproof. Yeah, this was beautiful and just a great reminder. Just a great reminder. And here we go. I'm going to read the first page, number 1, the first meditation, what is the Tao? I'm going to read that because I flipped to that initially. And, it's probably because it's important for us to read it. We always talk about it. What is the Tao? It's that which cannot be named. You know, as we, you know, and I think this is important to read this too, because, you know, we were speaking about awareness, like awareness of who is the one witnessing the thought, who is the one experiencing the pain, who, right? Something that honestly the mind is not, it's not something we're going to get to with the mind. And I think, you know, this passage, this meditation is only going to add to that, what we came to with that. All right, you ready? What is the Tao? The Tao that can be understood is not the eternal cosmic Tao. Just as an idea that can be expressed in words is not the infinite idea. Ooh. And yet this ineffable Tao is the source of all spirit and matter, expressing itself. It is the mother of all created things. Not to desire material things is to know the freedom of spirituality. And to desire them is to suffer the limitations of matter. Yet these two things, matter and spirit, so different in nature, have the same origin. This unity is the mystery of mysteries and the gateway to spirituality. I release. Thank you for reminding us once again, Tao Te Ching. Thank you for reminding us. This is why when we shift our relationship with uncertainty, we are shifting our relationship with ourselves. We are expanding our relationships with ourselves. The Tao that cannot be named. Just as an idea expressed in words cannot express the infinite, right? The infinite idea, the whole idea. So true. So true. So true. I am Shibi, left hemisphere of the brain, right hemisphere of brain, merging into oneness. All of these inevitable counterparts, huh? The left hemisphere of the brain, the right hemisphere of the brain, spirit and matter, yin and yang, structure and flexibility, like we talked about last week, all merging into oneness. To oneness, right? On one state of consciousness, we see all of the separation. On another, we see oneness. All have the same origin. All the same origin. And this is why it's important to honor our current state of consciousness. Instead of resisting, honor it. It doesn't matter whether you recognize separation only or oneness only. Just honor where you are. And that right there, that's the channel. The channel into presence, nowness, here-ness, whatever you needness. That is the channel. Honor you. Thank yourselves. I want to thank you all for joining me in tonight's Here Now live stream number 30. We had a great conversation about grounding. We all, some form or some way, came to a recognition of our addiction to thinking, our addiction to thought. And in this way, by becoming aware of that addiction, we recognize the essence of who we are. We choose to notice, to observe, truly ask ourselves, who is doing the experiencing? Isness just is, right? Isness is just is. Here-ness, now-ness, isness. Isness is what is. The moment as it is, right? Yes, yes indeed. Thank you all for being here. I'm here every Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Every Tuesday on Instagram, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And every Thursday on TikTok, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Yes, the topic is the same. The conversations are always different. There's always more different input, different perspectives that all feed. Every perspective is a part of the whole. 1 second. Gotta blow my nose. Alrighty. Every perspective is part of the whole, and we're traveling. So thank you all for being here tonight, for being a part of this chat. Thank you for your insight and your engagement. When you write in the chat, you help others too. Your perspective is valuable. So thank you for that. Be sure if you do not have my guided meditation on observing the mind, check it out. Free guided meditation on observing the mind. And also, big thanks to everyone here for supporting this page, whether it's through a super chat, whether it's through a like, a comment, a share, attending Here Now Live. Much gratitude for that, and for you being a part of this space, just being aware of it. And yeah, now I invite you to and one thing I wanted to say too is thank you for your vulnerability. Thank you for sharing some things in this chat. You know, we share certain things and certain aspects of ourselves, you know. So thank you for being vulnerable. Thank yourselves. I'll thank myself. Thank you, Morcie, for being vulnerable. When you acknowledge that, the more you find a sense of safety in it. We don't need to run away from the vulnerability. The vulnerability is the channel to what is necessary for us to see, and to notice. So thank you all for that. And yeah, Aaron, Roma, thank you, Morcie. Much love to you. Much love, much gratitude. Welcome to Here Now Live. Thank you for being a part of the chat. All right. I invite you to join me in this guided meditation. This is going to be a gratitude meditation. The intention of this meditation is to open up space to align with every aspect of ourselves. And this will be through thinking our thoughts and thinking our emotions, right? Thanking ourselves. No matter what the thought is, no matter what that is, right? We spoke about this briefly in today's live. and how gratitude is that channel. When we're grateful, we channel our awareness into the now. We align immediately with the now, right? One of my favorite quotes, I tell y'all, right? One of my favorite quotes is, life is difficult. When we know and truly understand that life is difficult, then life no longer becomes difficult. And so the energy of that is the energy that I want to share in this meditation, in stillness, in gratitude. By acknowledging all aspects of ourselves, we can relinquish attachment, relinquish identification with thoughts and emotions, and liberate ourselves. No longer resistant towards what arises. Naturally recognizing why it arises, what it's trying to protect us from, and naturally shifting our habits, right? It's nothing we have to try to do. It's one thing I notice. It's like once you notice and once you know, the transformation happens on its own. You don't really have to push yourself. There's no need to push. Kind of just do. You put one foot in front of the other because you noticed. You know fully. No effort. No conflict. Just awareness. Alrighty. So this is going to be a gratitude meditation part 2. Let's go. All right. Find yourself in a comfortable position wherever you are. You can be upright like myself. You can lay down. Whatever makes you feel most comfortable. Relax your eyebrows. Relax your jaw. Relax your shoulders, your arms, your limbs. Allow yourself to, your body to surrender to whatever is holding it, whether it's the ground, a chair, your bed. Allow your whole self to surrender into that space. Follow the natural inhalation and exhalation of your breath. And take this moment to feel what it's like to simply be here. Take one conscious breath in. One conscious breath out. Bring your awareness to your heart center. And be here. Aligning with the moment can be as simple as taking one conscious breath. Aligning with the moment can be as simple as being aware enough. Aligning with the moment can be as simple as thanking yourself. Thanking the visions that arise, the thoughts that arise, the emotions that arise. Thanking their attempt to protect you or warn you. Simply noticing. No labels, no good, no bad, no dark nor light, no positive, no negative, simply noticing. Acknowledging that life is working for us. Life is working for you. Take this moment to thank the thoughts that flow through your mental field. Just thank them. Allow what needs to arise, and simply notice. Take this moment to thank even those discomforting thoughts. It might appear counterintuitive. Take this moment to thank them, align with them, and bring awareness to their truest purpose. For being here. Allow what needs to arise, and simply notice. Take this moment to thank your emotions. Your emotions are a reflection of thought within the body. Thank them for arising. Thank them for acting as signals. And allow whatever needs to arise. Simply notice. Take this moment to thank even those discomforting emotions. Just like those discomforting thoughts, these emotions are attempting to protect us, attempting to ensure our survival. Simply thank them. Allow what needs to arise, and notice. Just notice. Take this moment to thank yourself. Thank yourself for showing up today. Thank yourself for being kind to yourself today. Allow what needs to arise, and simply notice. And take this moment to thank yourself for being kind to others. Whether it's a stranger, community, maybe it's nature. Thank yourself. Allow whatever needs to arise, and simply notice. Awareness is your greatest protection. Noticing is your greatest protection. Heart-centeredness, your greatest protection. It shifts you to a state of consciousness where nothing is personal. No suffering is in this state. Only wholeness, only peace, love, consciousness. Consciousness aware of itself. Whenever you need, take this practice with you. State gratitude to yourself or something else. Allow what needs to arise, and notice. This process aligns you with the moment and reminds you of who you truly are. A transcendent practice for returning to the here and the now. Take this moment to simply bring your fullest awareness to your body, the groundedness of your body, the groundedness of your breath. And just simply notice. Thank yourself for today's practice. Thank yourself for opening up space to notice. Thank yourself for this practice of gratitude and expanding your present moment awareness. Wiggle your fingers, your toes. Open your eyes and return when you're ready. Thank you all for being here once again. What the? Okay. Thank you all for being here once again. Thank you for being a part of the space. Thank you for being a part of the community. And I will see you next week. Here Now Live number 31. I send you all peace. I send you all love. And I send you all continued presence. Live in a state of gratitude. Much love. I am Shibi. Gratitude. Aaron. Much love to you. Oh yeah, there you go. That was from before. Eddie. Peace and prosperity. Much love. Jason. Much love. Much love. Thank you for being here. Thank you. I'll see you all next week or this Tuesday on Instagram, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, or TikTok, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Peace and love. peace, love, and wholeness.